Welcome to the REBT Advocates with Dr. Michael R. Adelstein and Tommy Bateman. If you have any questions, please email us at rebtadvocates@gmail.com and please subscribe to the channel.
I often have clients who not only think that they need approval or must do well at something in life, they must do well at work, or they need their partner's approval or their boss's approval, which, as we've discussed in previous podcasts, is irrational, illogical, and doesn't work. But sometimes they add another element to that, and that is a demand for a guarantee. I absolutely must have a guarantee my friend still likes me, and if I don't, this is awful, terrible, and horrible. So REBT has a particular way to deal with that, and that is by questioning and challenging not only the need for guarantees, but the idea that a guarantee is a realistic thing. And we say that there are no guarantees in the world or in the universe, but rather all we have are probabilities. We can have a high probability that we won't get into an accident when we're on the road, but we don't have a guarantee, and we never will get one in this uncertain world.
I relate that a lot to entitlement in a way too, that, I deserve it and I therefore must have it. The concepts are pretty similar, but again, with a guarantee, it's like saying, yes, I can predict the future, and this is what must happen. And if anybody tells you, I guarantee this will happen, they can't say it definitely won't happen. The best they can say is I'll pay you back or I'll help you out in case the worst happens, but it probably won't. To say guarantee in the way of I can 100% guarantee future results, that's illogical, irrational, and you shouldn't expect it from anybody. Not from a doctor saying, I guarantee this disease will go away. You shouldn't ask that of yourself, that I must know the prognosis of this disease. I must be guaranteed of results, because you can't predict the future, and it's a lot of energy, time, and emotion wasted.
Right, exactly. And one of the few of the ways to dispute that and contradict it is to remind yourself there are no guarantees, just probabilities. And even if there were guarantees, you don't have to have it. It's just a dire necessity. You've survived in a probabilistic world for the last X number of years, and you'll probably continue to survive. And that demanding a guarantee practically, but not quite, guarantees that you'll be anxious, worried, and nervous. Another concept we wanted to address is the idea that sometimes we have clients who are having problems with their diet or having problems with their emotional problems, and they tell themselves, I can't get over this, I can't diet, I can't stop being anxious, I'm out of control. Mm-hmm. So do you want to shoot some holes in that?
Well, absolutely. Every single behavior, every single emotion, every single thought after a thought is a consequence of the thinking that you're having to begin with, the thinking that happened just before or during some sort of behavior. That means the behavior itself is being controlled by your thoughts. Your thoughts, definitionally, are in your control. So if you're compulsively doing something, it's because you're continuing to keep that same untrue, irrational, inflexible thought in your mind without challenging it, without disputing it, and adopting a new thought that would lead to a more in-control behavior. If you're thinking consciously, it's in your control. The fact that you're doing it is you're controlling yourself into doing the thing you don't want to do.
Yes, and what that means is that although you're in control, as you say, Tommy, you're exercising the control you have poorly. Another way of people saying I'm out of control is I'm powerless, and the 12 steps uses this. I'm powerless over my addiction to alcohol, but really the truth is you have power. If you didn't have power, then the alcohol would be knocking you down and pouring itself down your throat. Then we would say you're powerless. But since that's not the case, you choose to drink. No one else made you drink. You choose to drink, so that shows you have power. The point is you're using the power you have in a self-destructive way, and in REBT we show you how to turn it around and use that power in a constructive way.
And that might get some kickback, but let's consider that. Yes, you are still in control of that drinking. Yes, you're choosing at that point to drink to avoid the withdrawal symptoms, or to go through the withdrawal symptoms and be able to tolerate it in some way, changing your thought process to tolerate that withdrawal. Yes, it's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. However, your thoughts can change how you react to that activating event, or what we would call the withdrawal in this case.
Yes, and if you do exactly that, change your thinking, then you'll be using the control or power you have in a constructive way, and that would be highly preferable.
Yes. So, never out of your control. How about this last
That's
one?
right.
This
Yeah,
concept of losing one's mind. It's gone.
yeah. You'll want to take that, Tommy?
Sure. Yeah. It's common to say I lost my mind, and this is really related to the previous one, that things are out of control. I lost my mind. Well, wait a minute. Where did mine go? We can quibble with the mental image of someone losing their mind, but one of the main things they're saying is, and what they're really trying to say is, I have lost control of my thoughts and my emotions. I have no ability to bring myself together, and so I just can't get it together. And in fact, what's really going on is they're, again, misusing their control, misusing their ability to control their mind, and seeding a sort of chaotic thinking pattern, which again is their responsibility. They still have control over that. They didn't lose anything. It is they're going into a certain unhealthy thinking pattern.
Exactly. And to build on that, you can't lose your mind. Your mind is always with you.
Yeah,
And and if you can lose your mind, then maybe there would be a lost and found that where you can find your mind, but it doesn't work that way. And the more you tell yourself, I'm losing my mind and I must not, you have two fictions there, then the more irrational your thinking tends to be, and then the more you can decide you're losing your mind. So it becomes a vicious circle, and the way to break into it is, as usual, to ask, what's the evidence?
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you have thinking that's not working for you, the first step is to say, well, what's the evidence for this thinking? And obviously, if you're asking, what's the evidence I'm losing my mind, that proves you're not losing your mind, because you asked, what's the evidence in your mind? You didn't ask it anywhere else.
Exactly.
It's in your, this thought is in your mind. So your mind is still there. So that's something to remind yourself of. Now, a related thought is, I'm going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, no one goes crazy. What happens is people get very anxious or very depressed, and they don't know what to do about it, or they try weakly to change their thinking, and then it doesn't work, so they say, I'm going crazy. But you're not going anywhere. What often happens is when people decide I'm going crazy, then they check themselves into the mental hospital
Mm-hmm.
and then they say, see, that proves I'm going crazy.
That's right.
I'm in the mental hospital. But the issue is you're going irrational in your thinking,
Yep.
but you're not going crazy. So a lot of these metaphors not only don't work, and if you think about them, they're highly illogical, but they can turn into self-fulfilling prophecies.
And I work with the jail population, and a lot of times I hear these things. I blacked out. It's out of control. My behavior's out of control. Or he said that thing to me, and I just lost my mind. All these types of phrases really, to be perfectly blunt, is a form of excuse to say that the reason I did it is because I never had control over my mind to begin with. And they're trying to move that responsibility away from themselves to some sort of, I don't know, some sort of ether world where things happen that are unexplainable. I don't accept that, and because it is illogical. You always have control over your thoughts and behavior. no matter what the activating event, what's happening to you. You're never out of control. You're never losing your mind. You're never going crazy. Let's take responsibility for our own healing and recovery and our behavior.
That's right. And the issue always is, am I doing a poor job, and how can I do a better job
Yep.
of using my power and using my control?
Yes.
Well, Tommy, I think that this was a very good discussion, so thank you very much, and we'll continue on the next podcast.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for listening to the REBT Advocates.